Okay, so while redeveloping my company back in April of last year, I decided to do some research on innovative business models in the energy industry. And that's when I came across the ESCO business model prior to that, but this research was to try to provide justification as to why I thought ESCO business model was very unique, which is what we've developed into over the past year and a half. So this article is titled "An Innovative Business Model That Can Build Our Sustainable Future." This article contains the findings from a study on innovative business models with the environmental benefits that COWI has conducted on behalf of the European Commission. The innovative, economically viable, and environmentally friendly business model discussed in this article is called a product service system. Product service systems, also known acronym PSS. A PSS can be defined as consisting of tangible products and intangible services designed and combined so that they are jointly capable of fulfilling specific customer needs. The key feature of a PSS is that there's a shift away from product orientation toward a greater emphasis on the delivery of the function of the product combined with the relevant service. One example we're all familiar with is the copy machine, which is typically leased, not purchased. Companies like Xerox, Konica, and HP lease their copy equipment and issue managed print services whereby customers pay per copy. Technicians are available for repair and troubleshooting, and the customer is not burdened with replacing expensive equipment when it breaks. Various types of PSS business models exist. A conventional classification distinguishes between three main types. One is a product-oriented service. This business model is still geared towards the sale of products, but extra services are added, for instance, maintenance contracts, supply of consumables, and take-back agreements. User-oriented services. Traditional products play an important role, but the business model is not geared towards selling products. Examples are product leases, product renting, or sharing and product pooling. And last, are result-oriented services. The client and the provider agree on a result, but there's no predetermined product. Examples are delivery of a functional result, as in the two examples mentioned above. The core logic of a product service system is that the focus shifts away from delivering products or services to delivering functionality to the customer. This shift gives companies possibilities to realize economic as well as environmental potentials that are not captured by ordinary business models. Energy service companies, also known as ESCOs. An energy service company is effectively a functional result of a product service system and is by PSS researchers highlighted as one of the most promising PSS models. The customer pays the provider for delivering an outcome, e.g., a specific indoor climate or certain level of heating. The recent rise in interest in ESCOs has, among other things, been suggested to be rising energy prices, renewed interest in the energy efficiency and climate change, and aggressive energy-saving goals made by regions looking to dramatically reduce their carbon footprint over the next 10, 20, and 30 years. An ESCO can be defined as a company that provides energy efficiency-related and other value-added services, and for which performance contracting is a core part of its energy efficiency service business. An ESCO typically assumes some extent of performance risk, meaning that their profit is tied to the actual amount of energy savings. The projects normally have a relatively large upfront capital cost, which is typically assumed or arranged by the ESCO. The head of the U.S. Department of Energy defines an ESCO in the following way: a natural or legal person that delivers energy services and or other energy efficiency improvement measures in a user's facility or premises and accepts some degree of financial risk in doing so. The payment for the services delivered is based either wholly or in part on the achievement of energy efficiency improvements and on the meeting of the agreed performance criteria. Following this definition, it becomes clear that the ESCO involves two key features. First, the company assumes some extent of financial risk. Second, the ESCO's payment is based on the extent of realized energy savings and improvements. These features create strong incentives for the ESCO to implement optimal energy solutions because the business model is typically based on a no-cure, no-pay basis. Having provider finance at risk in this way can be expected to create strong incentives for innovation and effective energy management. So just to take a quick quick break, I just want to kind of try to break this down in layman's terms. I think that the ESCO business model is supremely unique in the way that, similar to how you see those billboards or those advertisements where like harassment lawyers, or when you get into an accident, those lawyers that are like, let us represent you, and if we don't get you anything, we don't make anything. It's kind of like a win-win situation. You don't have to pay for anything if the results are not achieved. And the ESCO business model does the same thing in the energy world. So rather than, you know, the consumer, providing the initial payment without the guarantee of the deliverable, in an ESCO business model, if the deliverable is not delivered, then there's no payment that's incurred. So I was just trying to provide an analogy because I know that this article is getting a bit technical, but I think that that's why the ESCO business model is very unique, because it's kind of like we're both in bed together or married, in the sense that if we don't achieve the results for the client, then we don't get paid. So we're inclined to want to make sure that we receive or achieve the desired client outcome. Just to continue, it's almost finished. ESCO applications. ESCOs are known in all kinds of buildings and plants, including schools, hospitals, and production facilities, and are considered to be one of the most promising PSS models. The method can be applied in both public and private sectors, but the opportunities are most obvious in run-down public facilities. The ESCO environmental benefits. The model has the potential of realizing tremendous energy savings, leading to substantial reductions in CO2 emissions. This effect can be even bigger if the savings are spent on green energy investments. An ESCO framework. ESCOs are contractual relations between companies or a company and a public organization. The typical length of a contract is between 5 and 10 years, but some contracts are longer to secure that long-term considerations are taken into account. And what makes it unique? This business model differs from traditional business models in the sense that the client no longer contracts for a fixed product or service. The provider is given relatively free hands in bringing about the technical solutions that are necessary to achieve energy savings. The core feature is that the risk of the project is normally transferred to the contractor, which means that he or she is incentivized to bring out as large savings as possible, because this is tied to the payments that the contractor receives. Here, it is important to note the new role of the buyer. He or she has to maintain a more hands-off approach relative to traditional procurement models, and this requires a different type of relationship with the contractor. The traditional command and control approach is not appropriate for this type of project. Instead, a partnership approach, in the conventional meaning of the word, is more appropriate. Another core feature is the investment element, i.e., that the ESCO company normally is responsible for or involved in the project finance, e.g., assistance in the arrangement of finance by way of the energy savings guarantee. The new division of risk creates new contracting behavior and incentivizes the buyer in particular, and incentivizes the buyer and in particular the supplier in new ways. A key benefit of the ESCO model is that it has the potential to realize significant energy savings without constituting a liability for the recipient company. Often, there will be a guaranteed minimum saving, and the savings finance the capital cost. So, benefits to the supplier. An ESCO gives the supplier the opportunity to capitalize on the value that is created by the solution. The business model is particularly attractive to suppliers who can offer a solution that is technically and/or environmentally superior to the other competitors. A good technical solution will have a lower risk of failure and therefore give better functionality in a performance-based agreement and create better economic results than a traditional sale of product. An ESCO rewards the supplier with the best solution. And customer benefits. For the customer, the prime benefit is the ESCO's ability to curb a negative cost trend in an aging estate stock and to support the long-term development of buildings and plants. The ESCO makes it possible to lower energy consumption, better coordination with the operational organization, and upgrade technical standards, all bringing about lower costs without investing scarce capital. Furthermore, the cases show that ESCO companies can be used to reduce CO2 emissions in a cost-neutral manner and shift to green energy consumption at the same time. For the customer, this brings about two benefits. One, It prepares the business for a carbon constrained future by reducing carbon dependency and curbing rising energy expenses. And two, it realizes the intangible value in the sense that it signals to the broader community that the company cares about the climate. And what are some market opportunities for these kinds of companies? The estimated revenue for the ESCO industry in 2021 was projected to be $9 billion. Berkeley Laboratory estimates that the US market potential for ESCOs can develop to a volume in the range of 90 to 300 billion per year. This gives reason to believe that there is a massive unrealized ESCO potential in the US. Talk about opportunities. References. So these are just some references backing up some of the stuff claimed in this article. If you'd like to see these references, then just go ahead and find this article titled An Innovative Business Model That Can Build Our Sustainable Future. Until next time.